Every single morning, we stand at a powerful crossroads. It may not look dramatic, and no spotlight will shine on you when you make your choice, but it's a choice that determines the direction of your life. One path is familiar, even comfortable. It's the path of one day. It's lined with good intentions, dreams that sound inspiring, and plans that are always waiting for better timing. The other path is different. It begins with three simple but life-changing words. Day one starts now. The truth is, the most successful and fulfilled individuals aren't waiting for a perfect time. They've realized there's no such thing. They know that waiting is a trap disguised as patience. Every time you tell yourself you'll start one day, you're choosing delay over progress, fear over growth, and stagnation over momentum. That doesn't mean you're lazy or unmotivated. It means you've been conditioned to wait until things feel right. But real transformation never feels convenient. It feels uncomfortable at first, because growth always does. Choosing day one isn't about being fearless. It's about acting in spite of fear. It's about waking up and deciding that today is worth more than excuses. That even if the conditions aren't ideal, even if you're uncertain or unprepared, you will take a step forward anyway. This decision to begin, however small, unlocks momentum, and momentum is the secret to lasting change. One small action leads to another, and soon, you're no longer waiting for your life to change. You're actively changing it. History remembers the people who chose day one. People like Thomas Edison, who didn't wait for certainty before experimenting with the electric light bulb. He failed thousands of times, but he never delayed the work. Each day, he made the decision to try again. Imagine if he had waited for the perfect moment to begin. The world might still be in the dark, literally and figuratively. So ask yourself, how long have you been standing at the threshold of something important? Telling yourself you'll start when things calm down, when you're ready, when the stars align. That's one day thinking. It's time to flip the switch. Turn someday into today. Because the future you dream of won't just arrive. It must be built. And the foundation is laid with today's choices. Make this your day one. Not because the journey will be easy, but because it will be worth it. Write down the goal. Take the first action, even if it's imperfect, especially if it's imperfect. Action is what transforms thoughts into reality. Action is what builds character, resilience, and results. In the end, your life won't be defined by what you intended to do, but by what you actually did. Let today be the first line in a new chapter. Declare your day one and step forward. Not someday, today. In a world full of distractions, obligations, and endless options, there's one truth that separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck: clarity of purpose. Without it, you're not living, you're drifting. You might stay busy, you might look productive, but deep down, you're just moving in circles. Activity isn't the same as achievement. Movement without meaning leads nowhere. Purpose is what gives your actions weight. It's what fuels your motivation when life gets hard. It's your North Star when the path feels uncertain. And here's the most important thing. You don't find purpose by accident. You define it. You sit down. You ask yourself the hard questions. What truly matters to me? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? What do I want my days to be about? Not just when life is easy, but when it's difficult. When your purpose is unclear, you become reactive. You're pulled in every direction by other people's demands, by society's expectations, by random circumstances. You get to the end of the week or month and wonder why you feel exhausted but unfulfilled. It's because there was no anchor guiding you, no reason behind your effort. But when you gain clarity on your purpose, everything changes. You stop chasing what doesn't matter. You begin to say no to the distractions that once consumed your energy. You align your actions with your vision, and suddenly, progress accelerates. You move with confidence, not because the path is easy, but because you know why you're on it. Walt Disney once said, "When you believe in a thing, believe in it all the way, implicitly and unquestionably." That kind of belief is only possible when your purpose is clear. Disney didn't become a global icon by following trends. He built an empire by following his vision, one so vivid and emotionally charged that it pulled him through countless rejections and setbacks. That's the power of clarity. It gives your dream legs. It gives your effort a destination. So, how do you begin? You start by writing it down. Don't keep your purpose vague in your head. Put it on paper. Spell it out in plain words. Describe what success looks like to you. Not your parents, not society. You. Define what kind of life you want, what kind of person you need to become, and what specific steps will move you forward. Then revisit that vision every day. Read it aloud. Let it shape your decisions. Let it remind you that your time is too precious to waste. Purpose doesn't eliminate obstacles, but it gives you a reason to overcome them. It doesn't make life easy, but it makes life meaningful. With clarity of purpose, even the most ordinary day becomes part of something bigger. And without it, even a life full of activity can feel painfully empty. Don't drift another day. Don't wait for purpose to show up. Define it. Commit to it. And let that clarity guide you toward a life of direction, meaning, and unshakable fulfillment. Life doesn't always go according to plan. Setbacks, failures, and disappointments are inevitable. But the truth is, these moments aren't roadblocks. They're building blocks. Resilience is what turns adversity into fuel. It's not about avoiding struggle. It's about how you respond to it. And those who achieve lasting success all have one thing in common. They've mastered the art of rising again, stronger every time they fall. Most people view failure as a dead end, a sign to give up, but resilient people know better. They understand that failure is a teacher, not a punishment. Each setback carries within it a lesson, something you couldn't have learned any other way. If you let it, failure can refine you, sharpen your thinking, and build the kind of strength that comfort never could. Think about it. You don't build muscle without resistance. You don't develop character without challenge. The very nature of growth is discomfort. Resilient people lean into that. They don't pretend adversity doesn't hurt, but they refuse to let it define them. They get back up, assess what went wrong, and make changes. They don't let temporary defeat become permanent surrender. Resilience isn't about being tough all the time. It's about staying committed to your purpose even when things don't go your way. It's having the courage to keep moving forward when the outcome is uncertain. When life knocks you down, resilience is the voice that says, "I will try again." And each time you rise, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. Building resilience starts with perspective. When you face a setback, ask yourself, what is this here to teach me? Instead of seeing failure as proof that you're not good enough, see it as proof that you're in the arena, fighting, growing, evolving. That shift in thinking is where strength is born. Next, focus on progress, not perfection. Resilient people don't expect to win every time. They expect to improve. They know that effort compounds. One step at a time. One lesson at a time. It's not about bouncing back quickly, it's about bouncing back better. And finally, surround yourself with people who lift you up, not those who tear you down. Resilience is easier to build when you have support. Talk to those who've been through hard times and kept going. Their stories remind you that you're not alone, and that growth is always possible on the other side of hardship. So the next time life challenges you, don't see it as the end. See it as a beginning, a call to rise, to learn, and to become more than you were before. Because in the end, it's not the fall that defines you, it's the rise. Resilience isn't just a trait, it's a decision. Make it daily. There is one force that fuels every achievement, every innovation, and every personal breakthrough. It's not talent, not luck, and not resources. It's belief. Specifically, belief in yourself. Self-belief is the foundation upon which all success is built. Without it, even the most brilliant ideas die in silence. With it, even the most uncertain beginnings can lead to greatness. The challenge is that doubt doesn't arrive with a warning. It sneaks in quietly. It whispers things like, "You're not ready," or "What if you fail?" It masks itself as caution, as logic, even humility. And if you're not careful, it will keep you stuck, planning and preparing, but never truly moving. Self-doubt delays action, clouds clarity, and crushes confidence before it ever has a chance to grow. But belief, real, deep, unshakable belief, is the antidote to doubt. It's the internal decision to move forward even when nothing is guaranteed. It's the voice that says, "I may not have all the answers, but I'm still going." You don't need to wait for permission, and you certainly don't need to wait for perfect conditions. Self-belief allows you to act first and figure it out along the way. Most people think confidence comes from evidence, from results and success. But it's the other way around. Results are born from belief. The Wright brothers didn't wait for proof that man could fly. They believed it, and that belief drove them to make it real. Belief precedes achievement every time. Cultivating self-belief is a daily habit, not a one-time choice. You build it with your thoughts, with your language, and most importantly, with your actions. Start by speaking power into your day. Before the world has a chance to tell you what you can or can't do, remind yourself of who you are. I am capable. I am resilient. I am becoming more powerful every day. These aren't just words. They are instructions to your mind, and your mind listens. Next, take action, especially when you don't feel ready. Confidence isn't about always knowing what to do. It's about trusting that you'll figure it out. Every small step forward builds evidence for your belief. Every task completed, every risk taken, every fear faced adds another brick to your foundation. Don't underestimate the power of momentum. One small action can flip the switch from doubt to drive. And finally, reflect on your past victories. You've overcome challenges before. You've grown through adversity. You've faced fear and moved anyway. Those moments matter. They are reminders that you are far more capable than you sometimes remember. Self-belief doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you never let fear make your decisions. Surround yourself with people who reflect your strength, not your insecurities. Protect your mind from voices that feed doubt. Feed it instead with stories of courage, with affirmations of truth, and with a relentless focus on growth. Remember, the world doesn't respond to who you wish you were. It responds to who you believe you are. So believe boldly. Believe consistently. Believe even when it's hard. Because belief isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. And the moment you choose it, everything begins to change. You don't have to see the whole path to take the first step. You just have to believe that the step matters. And it does. Believe and act accordingly. Passion is not just enthusiasm. It is a powerful inner force that refuses to fade, even when faced with challenge, failure, or fatigue. It's the fuel that keeps the fire burning when motivation flickers out. Unlike simple interest, which comes and goes, true passion is persistent. It stays with you through long nights, quiet hours, and uncertain seasons. It demands expression, not because it brings recognition or reward, but because it's part of who you are. To live with passion is to move through life with energy and intention. It means waking up not with dread, but with purpose. People often confuse passion with luck or privilege, believing that only the gifted or fortunate get to follow their dreams. But that's far from the truth. Passion is available to anyone willing to look inward and listen to what truly excites them. It's not about finding something flashy. It's about connecting to what brings you alive. Think of the individuals throughout history who have left an unforgettable mark. Many of them didn't start with much. They didn't chase money or fame. They chased meaning. What separated them from others was their unwavering devotion to something greater than comfort. They were willing to work in silence, to be misunderstood, to keep showing up long before anyone else believed in them. Why? Because their passion wouldn't allow them to do anything less. When you pursue passion relentlessly, you stop waiting for the world to validate you. You don't need applause to continue. You don't need immediate success to feel fulfilled. The work itself becomes the reward. Passion makes you resilient. It gives you the courage to try again, the determination to push through obstacles, and the clarity to say no to what doesn't align with your vision. It's easy to drift through life chasing safety or what others expect from you. But deep down, most people feel a pull, a longing for something more. That's your passion trying to speak. Ignore it long enough, and you'll feel the weight of regret. But honor it, and you'll unlock a deeper level of joy, creativity, and meaning. Don't wait for the perfect time to start. The perfect time is a myth. Begin now, where you are with what you have. Explore what makes you lose track of time. What makes you feel excited, focused, and fulfilled. That's the trailhead to your passion. Follow it. Let it evolve. Let it challenge you. Give yourself permission to be obsessed in the healthiest way, to go all in, to care deeply about something. Passion doesn't make the path easier, but it makes it worthwhile. And that's the difference between a life you tolerate and a life that inspires you. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. It's not theirs to understand. What matters is that you understand your own fire and that you protect it, feed it, follow it. Because in the end, the most meaningful success doesn't come from what the world gives you. It comes from what you give to the world, from the depth of your passion, your energy, and your heart. Pursue it relentlessly, and don't look back. Dreams inspire, but only goals create results. Many people live with grand visions for the future, starting a business, writing a book, improving their health, or creating a better life for their family. Yet, without turning those visions into specific, actionable goals, those dreams remain just that, dreams. Vague intentions, no matter how heartfelt, do not build momentum. Success is never a product of wishful thinking. It is the reward for focused, intentional effort. The moment you put your dreams into writing, assigning them structure, clarity, and deadlines, you begin to transform possibility into probability. A goal, unlike a wish, has a backbone. It tells your mind, this is real, this matters, this is happening. And with that level of clarity, your energy begins to align with your vision. You stop drifting and start driving. Specificity is key. Saying, I want to get healthier is noble but vague. A true goal would be, I will walk 2 miles every morning, 5 days a week, for the next 30 days. The difference between the two is night and day. One leaves room for excuses, the other builds a track you can follow. Deadlines give your goals urgency. They light a fire under your ambition. Without them, it's too easy to say, I'll get to it later. But later becomes someday, and someday too often becomes never. Setting a deadline forces you to prioritize, plan, and act. It transforms a passive hope into a time-sensitive mission. And then there are daily steps, the unsung heroes of every great accomplishment. You don't need to leap forward every day. You just need to take one step, however small. Call that mentor. Research that topic. Write that paragraph. Every step forward creates momentum, and momentum is a powerful force. It builds confidence, refines direction, and silences doubt. Remember, goals are promises you make to yourself. They are declarations of intention, and keeping your own word builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. That trust becomes self-confidence, it becomes drive, and drive becomes action. Without goals, even the brightest ideas can fade. But with clear objectives, a firm timeline, and daily movement, your goals become inevitable. Your life begins to take shape, not by accident, but by design. So take the time. Define what you want. Be specific. Be bold. Write it down. Set your deadline. Break it into manageable steps. And then commit, not to perfection, but to consistency. Every big dream is made real the same way. One clear goal, one focused day, one determined step at a time. Start today. The life you imagine isn't waiting on luck, it's waiting on you. Your mindset is the lens through which you experience the world, and it determines whether you see obstacles or opportunities, failure or feedback, limits or possibilities. The most important work you will ever do begins in your mind. Because before you build anything on the outside, you must first build belief on the inside. We often underestimate just how powerful our thoughts are. Yet, every action you take, every risk you avoid, every chance you pursue, it all begins with a thought. If your dominant thoughts are laced with doubt, fear, and negativity, then your life will reflect hesitation, avoidance, and defeat. But if your thoughts are guided by confidence, resilience, and optimism, then success begins to find its way to you, not by accident, but by alignment. This is not wishful thinking or blind positivity. It's not about ignoring problems. It's about choosing to face those problems with a mindset that looks for solutions. A negative mind magnifies setbacks and drowns in excuses. A strong mind, on the other hand, seeks answers, learns quickly, and adapts. That difference is everything. Consider this. Two people can face the exact same challenge, say, a business failure or a health setback. One views it as a dead end. The other sees it as a lesson. The event is the same, but the outcome is determined by mindset. One walks away defeated, the other walks away wiser and better prepared for the next step. That's the power of perspective. So how do you begin mastering your mindset? First, it starts with awareness. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. What are you saying to yourself daily? Is it empowering, or is it filled with hesitation and self-doubt? Begin to catch the negative thoughts before they take root. When you think, I can't do this, reframe it. This is hard, but I can figure it out. Second, train yourself to ask better questions. Instead of, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? That single shift opens your mind to growth instead of shrinking it with blame. Third, practice gratitude daily. Even in hardship, there's always something to be grateful for. Your breath, your strength, your ability to choose your response. Gratitude keeps your mind anchored in abundance instead of scarcity, and it turns fear into fuel. Finally, surround yourself with input that uplifts your thinking. Read empowering books, listen to positive voices, and seek out people who inspire growth. Just like your body needs healthy food, your mind needs healthy thoughts. Because the truth is this: success isn't reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It belongs to those who discipline their thoughts, who protect their energy, and who stay focused on the solution, not the problem. Mindset isn't just one part of success, it's the foundation of it. So choose your thoughts the way you would choose your path, deliberately. Because every thought plants a seed, and over time, those seeds become your habits, your beliefs, and ultimately, your destiny. Start today. Train your mind to work for you, not against you. That's where true transformation begins. In a world that never stops changing, one truth remains constant. The individuals who continue learning are the ones who continue growing. No matter your age, background, or experience, learning is the tool that sharpens your mind, expands your vision, and keeps you aligned with purpose. It's not just about formal education or degrees. It's about the daily decision to seek understanding, to stay curious, and to refine your perspective. Think about this. Technology evolves, industries shift, and the way people live and think changes by the year. What worked 10 years ago may not work today. The only way to remain mentally agile and adaptable is to treat learning not as a one-time event, but as a lifelong habit. Lifelong learners aren't just better prepared, they're more resilient, more innovative, and more grounded in truth. They see challenges not as roadblocks, but as puzzles to solve. They approach conversations not with a need to be right, but with a desire to understand. And this kind of learning doesn't require grand gestures. Just 30 minutes a day reading a book, reflecting on your experiences, or listening to something educational can change the way you think. Reading sharpens your vocabulary, strengthens your memory, and introduces new ideas. Reflection deepens self-awareness, revealing patterns, emotions, and lessons hiding in plain sight. And conversations, when had with open-minded, thoughtful people, can deliver breakthroughs no textbook ever could. It's also important to note, wisdom isn't just about collecting information. It's about knowing how to apply it. True learning means taking what you've gathered and turning it into better decisions, clearer goals, and stronger character. Many people consume content all day long, but very few stop to digest it. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. One fills your mind, the other shapes your life. The most successful people you admire, from inventors to artists to entrepreneurs, all share a common trait. They never stopped learning. They remain students of life, always asking questions, always challenging assumptions, always pushing themselves to grow. Even in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, they read, wrote, asked, listened, and adapted. That's not a coincidence. That's a discipline. So if you want to keep growing, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually, make learning a part of your daily routine. It doesn't matter if it's a hardcover book on your nightstand, an audiobook on your morning walk, or a journal reflection before bed. What matters is consistency. What matters is intention. In today's world, where distractions are everywhere and attention is fleeting, learning becomes an act of focus and self-respect. It's how you reclaim your mind from the noise and reconnect with your deeper potential. Never tell yourself you're too old or too late to grow. That's a lie the world tries to sell you. The truth? The mind stays young when it stays active, and the spirit stays vibrant when it stays curious. Start today. Pick up that book, ask the deeper question, listen a little closer, write a little more honestly. Learn something today that will serve you tomorrow. Because in the end, lifelong learning isn't just about knowing more, it's about becoming more. In life, one truth stands firm. Change is not just possible, it's guaranteed. The seasons shift, technology advances, economies rise and fall, and even our own lives go through unexpected twists. Some people resist these changes, clinging to the familiar. Others adapt. And it's those who adapt who ultimately thrive. Adaptability isn't weakness. It's wisdom in motion. It's the ability to stay grounded in your purpose while adjusting your path. The most successful individuals, whether business leaders, artists, or everyday people, aren't the ones who had perfect conditions. They're the ones who learned how to pivot when plans fell apart. They saw change not as an enemy, but as a doorway to growth. Think about it. In nature, the tree that bends in the storm survives, while the rigid one breaks. The same applies to life. When you're faced with a job loss, a health challenge, or a relationship that shifts, your ability to stay calm, think clearly, and make adjustments is what sets you apart. You can't always control what happens, but you can control how you respond. And this mindset begins with flexibility, not in your values, but in your approach. Success doesn't always come from sticking to the original plan. It often comes from creating a new one. Life will test your assumptions. It will ask you to let go of old habits, outdated thinking, and paths that no longer serve you. Your strength lies in how quickly you release what's not working and start seeking new solutions. Adaptable people ask better questions. What is this challenge trying to teach me? What else is possible? How can I turn this into an advantage? These questions shift your brain from fear to creativity. They open your mind to innovation. In every disruption, there's a hidden opportunity, but only those who are open to it will find it. It's also worth noting that adaptability doesn't mean you lack direction. On the contrary, it means you're focused on the end goal, but flexible about how to get there. Just like a GPS recalculates when you take a different road, adaptable people stay focused on the destination while allowing for detours and reroutes. History is full of people who adapted their way to greatness. They didn't succeed because everything went according to plan. They succeeded because they adjusted when nothing did. In today's fast-changing world, That kind of mental agility isn't optional, it's essential. So, how do you build adaptability? First, expect change. Don't be surprised by it. Be prepared. Second, release the need for control. Understand that uncertainty is part of growth. Third, reflect often. Ask yourself what's working, what's not, and what needs to change. And finally, stay curious. Curiosity is the seed of adaptability. When you're curious, you explore. And when you explore, you discover new possibilities. The road ahead won't always be smooth. But if you train yourself to pivot with purpose, you'll not only survive change, you'll use it to rise. Adaptability isn't just a reaction, it's a strategy, a power, a mindset. And once you embrace it, you'll find that no matter how the winds shift, you'll always move forward. Every great success story begins not with a perfect plan, but with a single courageous step forward. We often overthink, waiting for the right moment, the right resources, or the right emotions to align. But here's the truth: action, not intention, is what builds momentum and changes lives. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is bridged not by waiting, but by doing. You may have the best ideas, the clearest dreams, or the strongest desire, but if you never act, they remain nothing more than thoughts in your mind. The world doesn't reward potential, it rewards progress. Even the smallest steps, taken consistently, hold more power than the grandest ideas left idle. When you act, you signal to yourself and to the universe that you are ready. You stop wishing and start moving. And with movement comes clarity. You learn what works and what doesn't. You grow stronger with each effort. Action removes doubt because you stop thinking in circles and start engaging with reality. So many people stay stuck because they confuse preparation with progress. They research endlessly, plan meticulously, and dream vividly, but they never start. Why? Because action is uncomfortable. It exposes you to failure. It challenges your self-image. It demands energy. But that's exactly why it matters. The uncomfortable path is the only one that leads to real growth. The key is to begin where you are. You don't need more time, more knowledge, or more support to take the first step. You only need the courage to begin. Start with what you have. Start small. Start messy if you must. But start. Take one step today. Make the call, send the email, write the first paragraph, walk the first mile. The size of the action doesn't matter. What matters is that you move. Because once you do, you unlock the most powerful force in achievement: momentum. And momentum multiplies. One step turns into two, two into 10, and suddenly you're not stuck. You're building. Remember, action does more than move you forward. It transforms who you are. You start seeing yourself not as a dreamer, but as a doer. Each time you follow through, you build self-trust. You prove to yourself that you are capable, consistent, and committed. Don't wait for confidence to act. Confidence is the result of action, not the prerequisite. The more you act, the more capable you become, and the more your results will reflect the life you desire. In the end, your legacy will not be measured by what you thought about, but by what you did. So let today be your day one, not one day. Make the decision that separates dreamers from achievers, the decision to begin. Because when you take action, no matter how small, you're no longer hoping for change. You're creating it. And that, my friend, is where transformation begins. Ideas are powerful, but only when they're backed by action. You can have the most brilliant vision, the clearest strategy, and the deepest desire. But if you don't move, nothing changes. Action is the great divider, the line between those who dream and those who achieve. It's the bridge between what you imagine and what you experience. Think about how many ideas you've had in your life, plans you wanted to start, goals you thought about chasing, projects that sparked excitement. Yet, how many were left sitting on the shelf, gathering dust in the corners of your mind? It wasn't the lack of value in the idea, it was the absence of action that kept them from becoming reality. The truth is, momentum doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. The first step, no matter how small, creates a ripple. It sets a new direction. It tells your brain, your body, and your world, I'm no longer standing still. I'm moving. And the moment you move, clarity starts to form. Confidence begins to grow. You stop second guessing and start engaging. Too many people wait for the perfect time, a time when they feel more ready, more confident, more organized. But perfection is a myth. That day never really comes. The only perfect time is now. Because when you act today, you build tomorrow. You shift from potential to progress. Action also transforms your identity. Every step you take reinforces a new belief. I'm someone who follows through. I'm not just a planner, I'm a doer. Over time, these small steps compound. They build momentum, and that momentum creates a force of change that is unstoppable. You don't need to start big, just start. Write one page, make one phone call, walk one block, create one outline, do one uncomfortable thing. Action doesn't have to be heroic, it just has to be real. What matters is consistency. When you move every day, your vision becomes not just something you hope for, but something you're actively building. And here's the best part, action is contagious. One task leads to another. Progress sparks motivation. Even when you feel tired or uncertain, the habit of showing up creates its own energy. Each day you act, you silence the inner critic and strengthen your inner champion. In the end, success belongs to those who move, not to those who wait. So stop hesitating. Stop waiting for signs, permission, or guarantees. Begin with what you have, where you are, and trust that clarity and growth will meet you on the path. Because the power of action is this. Once you take the first step, you've already changed. You've already crossed the line from thinking to doing, from planning to becoming. So, start now, don't delay. Let today be the moment you move forward, and never stop. In life, the most powerful decision you can make is to start. Not someday, but today. Many people spend years waiting for the right time, but that time rarely comes. What creates real change is taking action now, even if it's small. Whether you're 50 or 75, it's never too late to pursue a new purpose, learn a new skill, or strengthen your mindset. The keys to a fulfilling life, clarity of purpose, resilience, belief in yourself, and adaptability, aren't tied to age. They're habits of the mind and spirit. Begin each morning with a clear intention, a few words of encouragement to yourself, and a reminder that your future isn't behind you. It's shaped by what you choose today. Read something uplifting. Take a 10-minute walk. Reconnect with an old passion. These steps don't require youth. They require courage. Success doesn't belong only to the young. It belongs to those who take action and stay open to growth. So, whether you measure in miles or moments, remember, every step forward is a step toward your best life. Choose day one and watch what happens.